Okay, let's start. Okay, so in this kind of trend line, in which we told you that it's different from the normal trend line, it goes like this. You're not going to draw it from the top. You're going to draw it from the lower swing highs. You're going to connect the lower swing highs to the next swing high. So instead of connecting it from the top like this, we're going to draw the bottom ones. Where it has started the zigzag wave here, you have swing highs. So we're going to connect the lower swing low to the next one. And it's the opposite of the trend line, the normal trend line. I'm going to draw it again. From this swing high here to the next one. And the fluctuations that we've had here has been stopped at this area. So if the price is going to decline again and retrace and go further than this swing low, the trend line wall is going to cause an upward movement again. And if you go back in the market, it's the same. If I, instead of drawing the trend line from the bottom, I'm going to draw it from the top. So I connect it to the next one. And we've had a rejection here. It's not a breakout. And in this rejection, we have kind of a swing high candlestick, and it has caused a downward movement. And the one parallel to it is this one. We have one here and one here, which is your overall trend line. And it's because of the news, this spike here. And if you want to draw it somewhere else in the market, I told you that we are going to consider the trend line from the middle of the trend. So it would be like this. And the one parallel to it is this one. So it's almost like the normal trend line, but you're going to draw it from the middle of the trend. Let's go back in the market for more examples. We have one here, and the one parallel to it would be this. And we've had a breakout here. The one parallel to this one would be this, which is your middle trend line. If you remember, we have large pullbacks here, and they have started to retrace from this wall here. And you can draw several trend lines after that. But the one that has the least errors is the normal trend line. It goes like this. If you draw it like this, that will be our overall trend line. Now we have another one here. So we have two trend lines in this chart. And the one parallel to it would be this. And the middle one would be exactly on our middle swing high here. The central one and the downward fractal there. So you have to draw it like that in a way that you have a collision from the bottom and one from top. So let me adjust it so you can see. So we've had one collision from the top and one from the bottom. That would be your central or middle trend line. For drawing that, you have to consider the middle of your wave, and you have to have one swing high from the bottom and one from the top, so that we have two collisions. You can draw more parallels, but you have to check and see if you have had collisions and reversals or not. For example, in here we haven't had any collisions or reversals, so we can put it here. And the prices right now inside this channel, and the next wall that we have here, it's going to have to stop it. And when it comes lower than that, the one parallel to it would be this. So because these walls are the ones that tell you where you should trade. You can't trade when it's in the middle of or in between the lines. Or for example, when your price is at the central trend line, you know that you're going to have a decline. Or when it's at the top trend line, you know it's going to go up. Let me draw it in another chart. This is the overall trend line, and this is the one parallel to it, and this one is also parallel to it, and this is our central trend line. So we've had one collision on the bottom, and we have three collisions here. So if the price goes further than this wall here, it's going to go up. But if it doesn't break it, your price would be in this channel. If it goes up in the next channel, in that channel there, it's going to go up. But as I told you, you can only have a good trade on the walls or on your central trend lines. But if it's in between them, you can't get a good signal from that. And if you want to draw a trend line here, like this, from the bottom one and one upward, if we draw the parallel, it exactly gives you the same result. And you see that you've had collisions from the top. And the crossovers that we have here, these are very powerful areas, but it's important where your price is, what channel your price is at. So if you want to draw one here, it would be like this. And the one parallel to it is this, where we have a rejection and a reversal candlestick that has caused a decline, and your trend line here has been completely broken, and it's going to go up. And it was broken completely. It wasn't a rejection, because the candlesticks have been completed outside the trend line. So this is our new trend line, and before that, we've had a swing high here like this, and the one parallel to it would be this. You have three swing highs here, so three there. Firstly, you have to draw this, and you see that on the first collision it has declined, and the second and third one are close to that one. The top wall here was broken, So you can only trade when your price is on the lines. When it's at the middle of in the middle of them, you can't start trading. So if I want to draw the trend line, and here it would be this. This is the market at the moment. And the price is going to have fluctuations in this channel. If I want to draw it in the shorter time frames, it would be like this. And the one parallel to it is this, and we've had a rejection here. And the top wall here, you see, this was completed recently, but you shouldn't make any decisions because it's in the middle of this channel here. In the shorter time frame, we have this more partial trend line. And you see that we have a crossover here. If we want to take a sell order, we have to start it from the crossover here. Because if it goes further down that, it's going to touch the top wall there. But you have to know what your overall trend line is. For example, it's very important. For example, in here, the overall trend line here is ascending, right, like this. And we have another ascending one here. Yes, if you have pivots, trend line will help you because you see, this represents the pivots here. In the 4 hour time frame before this candlestick, we've had an uptrend. So when your price reached this pivot, you could have started buying. It was going up. So in the CHF chart, we have an overall trend line here. And another one here which has a rejection in it like this. And this is the one parallel to your overall one. And we have a more partial one here. And this is the one parallel to it. More partial than that would be this. And this is one, and this is the one parallel to it. And the trend line has been broken here. Let's move on to a more overall view of the chart. So the wall here has been broken and it's going up to reach the higher trend lines. And you have another parallel here. And this is kind of a GAN technique. Let me delete this. So I have this wall here and the pivot there. And the price is on this wall. If it goes further than this, it's going to reach the next one. But right now, you see, you may say that the CHF has gone up too far, but you have to pay attention to this. You have a central one here and a reversal candlestick there, so it's going to go up. And the price is exactly at this point. If it breaks it completely, it's going to reach the higher one. But if it doesn't happen, you see, for example, right now, you shouldn't make any decisions. You can take risks and put your stop loss with a low risk. The next one that is parallel to it would be this swing high and this one. And another central swing line, it would be like Yan technique. I'm going to talk about it later. But I'm not going to talk about this right now. So is that clear? The important point was that in, in the middle of every wave that has had a spike or a zigzag movement, in the middle of it you have a trend line. That you've had collisions here from the top and the bottom. So that is your central trend line. And the price is going to retrace when it reaches these trend lines. If I want to draw this here, it would go like this. And I have to connect it to this wall here. Excuse me. The price is trying to reach the central trend line. Is that correct? Yes, exactly. The price is trying to reach the central one to create a zigzag movement. You see, your central trend line is this one right now. And if we want to draw the one parallel to it, would be this. And you've had rejections here. Two rejections. So if the price was below this, you should have started buying, and then it has gone up again, and you've had another central one there that has caused a decline. So at the tip of the swing highs, you've had a rejection in this first one and a reversal in here. So if you want to have the least errors, you have to use the GAN technique. Because in this technique, you have to keep on drawing the lines, but in the GAN technique, which is very useful for the long-term trading, you're going to draw it for once and that would be it. So if I want to draw it here too, so in the GAN technique, you have to have a swing high at the top and a swing low at the bottom, and you have to draw it in the longer time frames. So I'm going to start from the top because we've had a downtrend. So we're going to consider the top swing high there, and we're going to connect it to every single swing high that we have. These two swing highs are at the same row, so if we have that, we have to consider the second one. I'm going to connect it to the next one. You see, when you connect it to one of the swing highs, it overlaps the other ones as well. So you have to draw it and connect every single swing high together. But I'm going to connect the ones that are before that so that we have a faster process. So the price is stuck between this wall and the pullback was performed completely. So the collision that we've had here has an equivalent reversal there. And in here, you see that? So the price has gone further than this line right now. So we're going to also draw it from the bottom. I would I should start from there, but that wouldn't be useful for me right now, and I want to do it faster, so I'm going to start from here. Excuse me. So should we draw connect the swing highs and swing lows together? No, you have to connect the swing highs together and the swing lows together. So right now I'm drawing this. I'm going to connect it to this one here. And the price has had a decline here in this crossover, and you have to adjust them because we're in a longer time frame. So we don't have any more here, and you see that the price right now is above this channel, and below it we have another channel, and the next wall that we have is right there. We could have a news published that would make it faster, or it could go up like that. We can move on to the shorter time frame so we can see it better. Let me zoom in for you. We have these diamond shapes here. The diamond shapes are when the price reaches these crossovers here, it's going to cause a severe decline, as you can see here. But when the price is inside the diamond shapes, you have to know that the price is having fluctuations in this diamond shape. So right now the price has been broken here, and I don't have any more diamond shapes, so the price is going to be in this channel. So don't draw the trend line like this. So if you draw it like this and draw the parallel like that, your trend lines are going to be broken like that, and it's called the optimistic trend. So if it goes up and retraces again, that is an error. So in the shorter time frames, in this chart, if I want to draw it in shorter time frames, I'm going to delete the previous ones, so it goes like that. We have one here and we have another one that is even older than that, but I'm not going to need that one. So you see it has gone further than that, but then it was stopped by this. All right, so if you pay attention, if the price is going to have a retracement, it's going to be in these walls here, in the shorter time frames. It's a more partial one. So in longer time frames, you have a sideways trend here, but in another chart like euro dollar, I don't have the past of the market. Let's move on to another one. Like the pound chart. So I'm not going to connect it to this one because it's too old, but if you draw it, it will work out. But I want to do it faster, so I'm not going to connect it to that one. So the price has retraced exactly at this point. So as you can see, the price is at this angle right now. I'm going to draw the bottom ones as well. I have connected it to this. So let's move on to shorter time frame. As you can see, the sideways trend that we have in the pound chart is because of the collisions of the price to these walls. So when it reaches this angle here or the bottom wall there, it's going to cause an upward movement. Let's move on to even a shorter time frame, but you have to draw it in daily charts or longer than that. And it's very accurate too. You can rely on the GAN technique. You can get very good signals from it. And it works out in a longer time frames. So when you get a long-term signal, it is probably going to give you 200 or 300 pips of profit. As you can see, the wall here, the price is right like there. The next one is this. So you can predict the future of the market easily. Is there a question? Excuse me. When we have breakouts in the GAN technique, is it different from the breakout that we have somewhere else? Should the candle go further than that? Okay, so you see, for example, in this, you've had kind of a rejection. This is a rejection. It's not a breakout. If we adjust it for you, because you're drawing it in the longer time frames, you have to be very accurate. So this is a breakout. We have a breakout when the next candlestick is completed outside of the line. But it could go like that. The swing high goes a little bit further than that, but the next one is above that. So you see, you have a open close pivot right there. So it's a reversal for you. These are rejections. A lot of people would be deceived by them. myself included. You think that it's broken and you start taking orders, but suddenly it retraces. And you understand that you haven't paid attention to an open close pivot that you've had. So in the Euro chart, I made this mistake and drew this trend line first, even though this is what my trend line is. You see what a big mistake I made? This is the mistakes that us traders do. The market has no errors and mistakes. You have to be very careful. That is why I tell you to analyze step by step. You should complete the, for example, the trendline strategy first and then move on to the next strategy. And the best opportunity to analyze is 4 hour time frames or longer. Or for example, in the daily time frame, a lot of these swing highs are going to be deleted. So in the weekly time frame, we've had a rejection. You see that? But in daily or 4 hour time frames, we've had a breakout. So you see that in my analysis, I'm moving from longer time frames to shorter ones. I'm not going to only analyze one time frame because that is going to cause errors. So in the euro dollar, I'm going to draw the GAN technique from here. And we've had a reversal and I have put my stop loss here. I have to adjust that. My accurate stop loss would be here and this one. This mistake could have caused me a loss.
سلام جناب عبداللهی.
Hi. Hi.
شما خودتون چند درصد از این
Excuse
استفاده
me.
میکنید همیشه برای
Do
تایم
you
روز؟
use this frequently? How often do you use it? I used to use it a lot back then, but the last time I used it was 6 months ago because you have to take your time and energy, and if you make a mistake in one of them, that would
این باید
make you
استراتژی های
lose.
دیگه هم باش میکس بشه یا فقط
So,
همین
do we
گن؟
have to mix it with other strategies or not? You can mix it with
اون جاهایی که
Fibonacci,
گفتید
pivots.
ضرب‌دره اون وقت
So, the
باید
crossovers that you
کندل
talked
هم نگاه
about,
کنیم که
should we
کندل
look
حالا
at the candlestick
افزایشیه یا
itself as well to see if it's
روزیه.
ascending or descending? Yes. And the walls that you have there, the candlestick that you have is going to help you. For example, in this wall, we have a reversal candlestick. So that is going to help you to understand that you're going to have an uptrend. And if the candlestick is completed like this, I know that I'm going to have an uptrend here. And the new one would be here. And I can draw it from here too. But you see, you have to take your time with GAN technique. The price is going to go up when
باید
it's up
بشکنه بعد بره
there.
بالا دیگه.
So it has to break it and then go up from there. Yes, exactly. Like this. And this one, like that. So shouldn't we? Isn't this considered as two central swing highs? Yes, you have to consider two swing high candlesticks. You see, the central one was this one in this market, but if I want to go in too much details, you see, this is my central one because it's below the other one. and this is in my other central swing high. So these two are the central ones, and this one is partial. Excuse me, does it have a. Is it too risky? How accurate is it? As I told you, the manual GAN, let me draw it for you first, is more accurate because it gives you all of the details of the pivots, but the normal GAN technique doesn't show you the partial and minor pivots. So this is the automatic GAN for you. This is what the computer is showing you, but it's not going to show you the minor pivots. But when you draw it manually, you see all of the details of the market. Excuse me, if we mix the GAN technique with candlesticks, it would be better. You see, mix them up together. Mix all of the techniques that you have together. But I told you, you have to take your time with this. When you're online on the market, you have to analyze the chart for 1 hour. And you have to have a free time. You have to be online on the market because all of these techniques that you use is a new analysis. If you just open an order and then you go and leave it, something might happen, you might miss it. But for example, if you were online on the market, you would have seen it. And I have told you this before. I shouldn't trade anymore because I'm busy. If you want to trade, you have to be online on the market. If you take your time with it, you can be successful. So you see, we've had rejection here, and you can consider a swing high there too. But you have to consider the central ones. You see, the one next to this would be here. And again, this one. So this is my chart right now. The price is at this wall. It has to go over this wall here so you can start buying. So you have to make your decisions when your price reaches the walls. You have to be patient. For example, the price is at the middle of this channel here. If I want to use the GAN technique and it's in the middle of the channel, I'm not going to trade. I'm going to wait for it to be broken. But if I take any orders beforehand, I have analyzed the market and I know where it's going to reach. Everyone, please mute yourselves. I'm not I'm not going to draw all of the trend lines, just some of them. You see, for example, in here, the second candlestick was completed above the line. So the price is in this channel right now. If it goes further than that, it's going to be in that channel. So if you want to know exactly what the channel is in the partial markets, it would be this. In longer time frames, this technique is really good. It works out great. I remember that in 2010, in the pound chart, I predicted the next 3 years of the market and it worked out. And back then, I had classes, in person classes on 2008, and the price was here, and we had a decline. And I said that the price is going to reach this area in the pound chart. So many of the analyses that you make in longer time frames are going to work out. It's the shorter ones that have many fluctuations and reversals. So let me put it like this: the market is all about reputations. So you only have to find the beginning and the end. But you can use Fibonacci, candlesticks, pivots, trend lines, but in the accurate time frames. If you're trading in the hourly chart, it's going to have fluctuations. You're going to lose the trend at some point, but in longer time frames, out of comparing to the shorter ones, you have a lot less fluctuations. So, and if you have many fluctuations and you make a mistake in one of them, that is going to cause you a great loss. So, in the oil chart here, that one of the students analyzed it very well yesterday. You see, I don't have the past of the market right now, but here would be our trend line. It's exactly on our 61 level of Fibonacci, and we have an open close pivot right there. Let me delete this so you can see. Here. So this is an open close pivot there. And it's also your 61 level. So we can say it's going to go up when, you see, I didn't pay attention to this yesterday. And after 2 or 3 hours of my analysis, I realized that we have an open close pivot there. And it's also the 61 level of Fibonacci. Excuse me, didn't you say that we have the open close candlesticks in our 89 candlestick? No, you have to consider where's your central line. It's above your swing highs in 78th level. So this is a swing high for you. You have an open close one here and another one there. You see that? We don't consider the ones that are inside the wave. And I told you that. The ones that are inside the wave are not important. The open close ones are only in these areas where you have a V shape or a reverse V shape. So my open close pivot here is this. Don't mix them up together. It's normal to mix them up because you have just learned them and it's a little bit hard for you to analyze them, but you're going to get better at that. You see, your fourth semester is a semester that you have to choose the best techniques and only use them. So, this is a very important semester for you. For example, if you want to overuse the GAN technique, let me draw it for you so you can see. You see how good it worked out? I'm going to connect it to this one. And this one. If the price is below that, you know that you're going to have a decline up until the next wall. The price is in this wall right now. We haven't had a breakout. So let's move on to a shorter time frame. But when you do that, the lines become a little bit inaccurate. You could have collisions in the daily chart, but you might not have collisions in the 4 hour time frame. But you know that the price is right there right now, and you can start buying and put your stop loss right here. And you can start buying again on the top walls. There is nothing certain on this market because you could start buying here and maybe the candlestick hasn't been able to break the trend line for 10 days, but exactly on the day that you open a trade, it breaks it. So if you make mistakes in putting the stop loss on the chart, it's going to cause you a loss. You see, for example, in the AUD chart here, let's move on to another chart. This one wasn't good enough. So let's move on to the gold chart. So it goes like this. So this is the gold chart. The price is here, but you have to be careful. If the price goes further than that and the price is here, that is not a rejection. It has retracements before, but be careful that it's not a rejection. Let me draw this one for you as well. So this is the gold chart, the Yan technique in the gold chart. And you see this point here has been touched a few times and it has declined a bit. So I have to wait here to see if the candlestick goes up and down for 2 times. That is not a rejection. But if it goes up once and then declines once again, that is a rejection. So if it goes further than that, it's going to reach the next wall. If it reaches these walls, you have to start buying. Let's draw the Fibonacci as well. We have a 50 level there and another pivot that I had located before. We have an open close one here and another one there, and the price is stuck exactly in that area, and you have another one here, an open close and swing highs. If I move on to shorter time frames, it's this wall here. And if I adjust it, it would be parallel to the pivot that we had. So you have to stop here and you shouldn't trade. It's not like that you're always online on the market and you're always trading. You have to stock the market. If it goes further than that, you can't start trading. You can, it's possible not to trade for a whole week if the market is not good enough for trading. But you could open an order that makes up for all of that suddenly. Is there any questions? Any questions?
استاد هر چی
Excuse me.
تایم فریم رو در واقع چیز کنیم بالاتر ببریم
You
فرمودید که
said
در واقع
that
این
the
دقیقاً
longer the time frame, the more accurate
هر چی
the
عقب‌تر
strategies,
بریم در
right?
واقع قله‌های بالاتر با پایین‌تری
So if
بگیریم
we
اونم دقیق‌تر جواب میده
go
یا نه
back and consider the swing highs at the top and bottom of the market, that is more accurate as well, right? No, you see, you have to consider places in the market where you have top, bottom, and central points. You see, you have a swing high at the top and the swing low at the bottom here. And in your weekly one, this is your top and bottom swing highs and lows. So the pulse that we have, the wave, should be the first leg of your reverse V shape or your V shape. Only the first leg, not the second one. So if we draw this
و ترکیب
here,
ماهانه و هفتگی و روزانه هم میشه
can we
انجام داد
mix the monthly, weekly, and daily time frames together? Yes, but don't do it in
مثلا
the
یه دونه در
daily
واقع
time frame.
دو فرض و سه تا بزنید یکی برای ماهیانه بزنید یکی برای هفتگی
We could get different signals from these time frames. Yes, that is what I did. But don't go below the daily chart. But please analyze these three ones because sometimes in the daily chart you don't see some of the things that you have. But in the weekly chart it's better for you. So consider these three time frames and analyze the three. I told you that you have to comply with some rules. Don't trade at certain points. But for example, when the price goes further than the walls that you have in the GAN technique, you can get a very good signal from that. You see, I'm very busy these days and I haven't been trading that much. But I used to use the GAN technique a lot in the past. And it has helped me predict the market a lot.
استاد من منظورم سه تا تایم
Excuse
همزمان
me,
بود منظورم از سه تا تایم
I said
همزمان بود یعنی
that
ماهیانه هم بزنیم هفتگی هم بزنیم روزانه هم
should
اگه
we
گنجش
trade
بزنیم
and
این سه تا رو با هم
analyze
ترکیب کنیم
in these time frames at the same time? No, you see, it's the same. Your weekly and monthly time frame are usually the same.
بله
I
بله
told you that these are pairs. You can do that. That's totally possible. But don't overdo it so that you have only lines in your chart and you can't see anything else anymore. But please practice this to see how it works out for you. I have gained a lot of profit based on this technique. 2 years ago, I had an account and I turned $180,000 to $2 million using the GAN technique. And there's a video of it. And It's very good too. It works out great. I used to use candlesticks and the GAN
استاد یه بار دیگه
technique
هم بزن
in the
لطفا.
past. Please draw another example. No, you see, I told you I shouldn't trade anymore. I'm busy. I'm only going to lose if I do, because you have to be online on the market when you're trading. You can't just leave your accounts open. Okay, so any questions? So I'm going to upload the videos. Has anyone called Mr. Raimi?